Welcome back to Ground of Aces, episode number 10. We have 3 active projects right now, as I think we've gotten past the point of having a mostly stable tier 3 run at the moment. So we're not as far off from tier 4, but we're definitely not at easy tier 3 status. But the 3 active projects as we get started on work for the day, we are expanding our workstation to essentially double up. In case something happens to one, we have an immediate fallback. And at the same time, there's a couple where I want to just kind of split up the duties between here and there. We are also actively working on a floor for a hangar around our bombers, and we're going to try to do it a little bit differently as we enclose the other one accidentally. And then our runway expansion. Now, this airstrip is already a steel tarmac. Tier 5, ready. We have also cleared the space, finally, for the full width to make it tier 5. Right now it's only width of tier 2. And it's not even complete on that part yet. Once we get this section done, I think we are very quick from this tier 1 becoming a tier 2. Maybe just a few pieces right there would do it, because we're pretty far down to make it work. And maybe it even is just to the start point here where that would need to happen. Once we have that, though, we're going to push a little bit wider to get it towards tier 3. Lengthwise, it is now tier 3 in length, or at least once it's done constructing down to here. And in the short term, I'd really like to get a second tier 3 airstrip. Most of the planes that we have in our fleet right now are tier 2 or 3 planes. And so having a single remaining tier 1 runway services the need for, 3 planes. 1, 2, and 3. Everything else is tier 2 or above. And without a tier 2 airstrip, we're very limited. Almost everything's having to take off from here. So that's the biggest need short term. This hangar is definitely a long-term project, and I'd like to convert some hangars. Like here, the problem is I have these parking spots already internalized, and so it's hard to do it without deleting everything to turn this into storage instead of parking spots. They are making that progress here, though. In fact, how close are we now? Still tier 1. It's got to be this start point. I think as soon as this finishes, all of a sudden this is going to pop up to tier 2. Oh, come on. How is it not? How is this not a tier 2 runway right now? Looks like they're going to have to finish this project to call it, to change the airstrip. So we will definitely wait till this is finished to widen any further. But it's nearly done. There's the end of the week. We had 7 missions. We succeeded on all but 1. We never initiated the other, and we already brought in that turret trainer last time, so we are done with all of these now. Additional AA guns in time will be necessary, but that's all. We do have a good amount of resources. I think we are a little bit light on repair items now. And so we'll just bring in fuel and repair parts to keep things at a top level. Do need to double check. Yeah, repair parts are low, down to just 9. Everything else is looking good. Looks like we could use more high caliber ammo, and that's actually probably more of this situation. There's our high caliber ammo, and it's just set to a low number, so I'm going to be clicking away and bring this up to, still working on this. We have a mission. We'll leave it at 350, I guess, for now, and focus on the mission. Slightly dangerous. Fighters shouldn't be too hard. Don't I have one that's stronger than a 30-30? I do not. If we send 2 Mustangs, 98%, I'll take that. Basic resources are all looking good. We do have 3 potato seeds, so if I wanted to expand and get a 3rd food, on the go, we could do so, but that's not going to lead to more complex meals, so there's not really a purpose in that. Tarps are low, but that's because we are continually using them. Looks like I could increase cement and intel a little bit. Yeah, cement's set to 30. One stack is 40, so I'll make a small increase there. And intel is set to 20. Let's go ahead and increase that as well to 1 full stack. Tier 1 storage is nearly full. There's a lot of food in there. We only have 1 gravestone. I think that's something we should resolve earlier and not have to deal with the inevitable when the time comes. Help secure things for the future. Okay, our tent is nearly done. Our floor work is nearly done on this one. We'll start putting in wall sections soon. I mean, we already have this for one thing, so closing it off to the corner there would be nice. We are there, we have 165. Okay, it's just a delivery situation. Speaking of, let's continue acquiring fuel. Okay, the tent is done, so we are going to replicate exactly what we have in here, as that mission was very easily a success. So tailor, metalworks, press, and then electronics. Alright, so we've queued that up. The 3 gravestones are ready, and here comes our next mission. Bombing run 70. Hampton, the chief player for that one. The second one gets us to 99%. In the grand scheme of things queued up, this is taking longer to complete simply because of location. It's a little bit further away, so can't seem to prioritize it though. There's one section at least coming towards completion. This is the big obstacle kind of holding us off, as we have a officer hostage rescue mission to do, and there's a metalworks station. Now we've got the metalworks in the other one. I'm going to turn this into machinery and set it all the way up to 40. We have a maneuverability plus 40. A Spitfire can do that for us, 96%. There we go. This is finally picking up some priority once again. Success on the bombing run. As we go into the night, morale is high long before we even hit the morning. A little bit late for these guys. It's almost 2 a.m. Would be really nice, as this is fully the width of a tier 2 now, and the length easily of a tier 2, as that's a tier 3 length, as that's a success as well. Suddenly we're back up to 7 victory points. This should count as a tier 2 runway. Oh, machine parts. Oh, funny. We've used up the machine parts. That's the main thing, holding those up as we succeed on the birthday mission, and now we have 8 victory points. Was I missing a crew member, or have I already... Transport's only 30. It's about detection. The Blenheim's less detectable, apparently. So as I put the last stations in here, I have 2 indoor kitchens in the other. I don't think I need to make that 4. 3 will be enough. If we do lose the other station, we can insert an indoor kitchen without much consequence, as we would have 1 active. So that'll be enough. That's that project. Nearly there. Those stations need to get built up. This runway upgrade is so close. Still counting tier 1 though in the meantime. This floor section is very close to done as well. And there's another success. Now at 9 victory points. That was my role in the army, by the way. Recon. I was a scout. Oh, here they come. Good thing I only sent off 1 plane for it. The alert's on. Let's scramble. Oh, buddy. -1 Mustang, and we are coming in hot and heavy with a big ol' group. That's a lot of fighters too. 3 dive bombers and 5 heavy bombers. And we still only have the 1 runway accessible. Probably 1 final time, right? This could hurt. Mission successful, but he's not going to be back in time to scramble, and I've already discovered from a previous one that you can't scramble him later. So we're down to one Spitfire, still trying to get airborne, and one Mustang. Mustang, not moving. Why is he not moving? Ooh, well, okay, not bad. We got all of them up but the one, and they did take out 4 planes this time, including 2 of those dive bombers, which have been seemingly the hardest ones for us to take out. There's still 3 more dive bombers, still 4 more main bombers, and only 1 damaged plane. So they did a good job of eliminating targets and not leaving them wounded. They got after some targets and took them out, but that's still a dozen planes coming at us right now with, what is it, 6, 7 AA guns? So, they are. I slowed you down. I slowed you down. Those fighters kind of came right through. There's a big bomb being dropped. And those dive bombers, one of them got through at least. So it looks like 1 fighter, 1 dive bomber, and 1 bomber succeeded on coming through and causing a good amount of damage. It looks like we lost our first barracks, which as far as things go, that's not that bad, but we did lose a gunner. I don't think I had another spare, and we had some points here. We had some points. Stanley Chatham was pretty good. Sticky is sleeping. McGregor is sleeping. They are not dead. These guys are heading back to their beds. Looks like the beds mostly survived. It's mostly the tent that has been destroyed. So that's not going to be the worst cleanup that we've encountered, but a cleanup nonetheless. And I'm really hoping that this is the final time that we only have a single advanced runway. We will have that secondary tier 2 very soon, so we can scramble all of our planes instead of just some of them, because 1 did not get airborne, plus 1 was on mission, so we were short 2 planes. And a gunner. I do not think I have a gunner spare. Oh, there's 2 dead. A gunner and a navigator have died. Yes, we are missing a navigator. We do have a gunner. There's a gunner XX. So 1 navigator. Let's see if we can find 1 navigator, and we can. So we do lose 2 victory points out of that, and 2 lives overall, and 1 barracks. Definitely a less than ideal scenario, but considering the circumstances, can't complain too much. We lost a section of roof here. We'll set that to restore first. We'll work on this one once we've cleaned it out a bit. Taking out those big rocks is definitely a process, so now that this is cleaned out, this last section should go a little bit faster. However, we still have this other project. There's still these workstations to build, and now all of this cleanup, which I think most of that's going to take priority as we do at least finish that storage. So that's recovered. Far from the worst damage we've taken. I think we'll be okay, and we'll have that runway soon, which will make a big difference. 2 more planes in the sky, 3 more planes in the sky as we add another will make a substantial impact on what we're doing. But we're looking at a 120 fight requirement on a very dangerous heavy bomber interception mission. We might need 3, 4, 5 planes, but as we also just came out of an attack, I think that gives us a little bit better odds of not encountering attack while we're dealing with this. That's 60%. The Mustangs will have to get us. Oh, we have a 4th Spitfire. 92, and 1 Mustang, 97. Oh no! Well, there's our other. There's Gibbs. Field mechanic. So we lost a field mechanic as well. 2. There's a second body here. So we lost 2 crew members, or all 3 crew members there, and this replenishing tank. So there are also crew members. More losses than I first thought. Definitely. A little worse. Again, recovery's not that bad. But as we seem to multitask on a number of different cleanup projects, we've already buried the dead. I made new gravestones for the future. Didn't anticipate it would be a day later. Still cleaning up there. We did lose some beds, but we have enough at least at the moment. As we have calm supply drop, a 70 is what's needed. And it looks like we don't need to hide on this one. So the Hampton... Oops, something's wrong with... Oh, they must be missing the crew member. That's the... Oh, we already replaced, didn't we? 93%. I'll accept that. I did not. Didn't I? I brought in... I got a navigator. Okay, bomber interception succeeds. We did take a little bit of damage, but that's all. And that's a success as well. Back up to 8 victory points. And we're only missing the 1 crew member slot at the moment. Oh, there's another body. And we don't have a place for him. Alright, that tailoring station is done, but otherwise there's still a lot of work to do here. They got the 3 of those 4 gravestones prepared already, and the cleanup is done here. Wow, that's a lot worse than it was. These guys were sleeping in beds that were just damaged. Now they're gone. Alright, so all the cleanup has been finished. The rebuild, at least on the tent, is ongoing there. So set to the same 350 we have at the other station, and then 200 for the bombs. This is the first time we've actually had bombs queued up officially. The distillery is done. We have no strong medicine or luxury goods for that matter. Oh no, we do have 40 luxury goods. And I want to get repair parts queued up and make sure that we always have probably 40, which is exactly what we have right now. Away from the replenishing fuel tank, so we've almost recovered from this latest attack. Bar 1. Let's see, we were missing another mechanic, right? As that mission succeeds. Let's check the crew and see if we can bring field engineer. I think that's going to be close enough. We'll take field engineer and we're back to full strength, or at least the strength we were at. Which is definitely not the maximum strength. Okay, urgent ground squadron support. 10 to 40 fight. That's a pretty easy one. So as everybody gets to work, how close are we on these 3? We need iron. Wow, close but successful. We need iron and we need iron. So we need iron for all 3 of those, and then just construction. I think this one's probably stealing the current supply as it's closest to the workstation. Or I can't get it to jump the queue. Artillery spotting mission. Low recon, easy. Mustang, nice. We are into January of 1941 now. Now, IRL, the Battle of Britain, only lasted a few months. But the war, of course, continued a long time, and that is a failed mission where detection. This one, you need to have the lower score. Right. This project is officially complete. That medium spot floor is complete. And there we go. We have a Tier 2 airstrip. Finally. Finally, we have a Tier 2 airstrip. Let's send this medium fighter interception. We now have an active Tier 2 airstrip, now turning it into a Tier 3 airstrip. It's exactly the length of a Tier 3. It's going to be the width of a Tier 3. And then, of course, steel tarmac. We're ready for the final tier. Once we've established Tier 3, we will get it very close to Tier 4. Once I'm positive that we have Tier 3 under control, then we can tip that balance, get that last little bit of length out of it, and that'd be fine. In fact, we might even go all the way to a Tier 5 width here after we have our tier 3 established, get the tier 5 width, and then get the tier 3 length pushed almost to the tier 4 length. And then all you got to do is do that last little bit when you're ready. Okay, successful mission. 10 victory points. Crews back to where they were, so I think we can start thinking about what is going to be our next plane that we want to bring in. Definitely a tier 3. So we already have 2 Mustangs. Additional Mustangs is definitely not a bad idea. Do I want a Hawker Tempest? We already have a couple Hamptons. No Sterlings yet, though. And that Flamingo is not a bad idea to get one of those, which means we need a couple more larger parking spaces for those. A small parking space for the Tempest. I think more fighters right now makes more sense, as we are still getting safety as a top priority, and bombing runs have all been successful till now, so I think we can still handle. It's kind of a mix of things here, and really the key is not very maneuverable. 4 20mm cannons and 908 kilogram bombs, 702 kilometers per hour, so pretty quick. 11,000 meters on the ceiling, and a range of 1,200 kilometers. I think that can help us in a number of ways. Let's go ahead and get one. We need a parking space for it, though. This runway is not going anywhere. It's not being changed. It's going to stay a tier 3. And he wins. Whew, there's 11 victory points. And that's a success. It did involve a fight, not the bombing run. We definitely took some damage for all 3 of those. And this will actually be a good opportunity to double check the condition of everything. They are automatically queuing up to repair, refuel, rearm, etc. as they should. But you can see how occasions where I think it isn't below the threshold where it's automatically, not always an automatic that is being dealt with. Runway widening definitely underway. Making a little more progress here on the hangar, but not a lot. The restoration of the fuel tank is definitely done. And the barracks, last little bit on that one. Bowfighter, 96%. Sure. Oh, we are full on victory points. We are full on victory points, and we're not getting the wood delivered here, but we'll have the wood soon. Okay, that's a success, but no victory point gained. We can definitely sit out the next one. What are we doing? 5 missions, 60%. Yeah, we're fine on the requirements here at the tail end of the week. Our next airbase, runway tier 4, minimum 3+ runways, and 10 parking spots. We're okay on the last 2 parts. It's that tier 4 that we are still working towards. But I don't necessarily need the supplies right now. Oh, massive fight. Level 6 dangerous, lots of bombers, a 120 requirement, 4 Spitfires and a Mustang. Please do not attack me now. Get there and get back, please. Here they come. Here they come. I have to wait a few seconds. Otherwise, these guys are not available. Okay, he's back in place. This Mustang's coming in. This Spitfire's coming in. That's the last one. The last 2. Park. Okay. How's this one? Let's wait a few more seconds. Come on. We will scramble momentarily. Please don't be too late. We also have this one is... How do I have a body already? He's passed out. Awesome. All of the guns are maxed out, and we've literally just finished the recovery from the last one. That little bit late. And we have made some progress overall, of course. And having 2 runways is 100% helping us out here. More planes are getting in the air faster. Of course, we started late with the mission that was just returning. It should be including the bow fighter, as it's a multi-purpose, and it's tier 1 runway, so it makes it a lot easier to just be a 3rd plane on that runway. Okay, we are going to be down to just the 1 plane still trying to get airborne, which is already better than any fight we've had previously. And he might just make it up there. And it looks like he had. We've got it. Definitely would be nice if we had this parking spot done and ready, but that's okay. Wow, we lost a plane. We lost one of our fighters, and did take out 4 of theirs. 9 more on the way. 2 are damaged. Liking that a little bit better than some of the previous ones. And here they come in from the west. First plane's being brought down fairly easily. Just 4 left, all dive bombers. 2, 1, 0. Okay. Well done, everybody. Well done. Now, is it going to happen every time like that? No. For one, that was less planes coming in than what we've had recently. But it's definitely a great sign. A, we started late. B, we still got everything airborne. C, we intercepted quite a few. We did lose 1 plane, though. We need to replace that one, and it was just a Gloucester. So that is a free replacement. So we'll go ahead and take that one. Ooh, not crew. Do I want to Spitfire in its place? No. That's tier 2. It would be a Hurricane. Do I have any Hawker Hurricanes? I only have Spitfires and Mustangs. A Hurricane's going to do better. Yeah, we're going to bring in a Hurricane instead. Especially while I'm maxed out on victory points. That takes care of that particular problem. A place for a future AA gun. We only have 1 on this eastern edge, so probably 1 out here. And we should probably prioritize that just because things have glitched out in the past a bit too often. Spitfire and Hurricane gives us 98%, so we'll get that new Hurricane on the go. All right, folks, that's going to be a good stopping point. We're already right back to 10 victory points, and the clearing here is done. It's almost complete, so we are going to have a new plane coming in here shortly of a higher tier. Of a variety we don't currently have. Definitely a step towards that tier 3 stability, which I feel is fine now. We still face danger, and some of it's going to get through, but I think we have stabilized for tier 3. So once that runway is all the way to tier 3, and we have 3 to 4 more planes overall, right, of the ones we mentioned we would like to add, and at least 1 more fighter out there in addition, I think that's going to be our time to go ahead and push on to that tier 4. But like I said, the widening project can push us all the way to tier 5. We might just, once it's done, if we have what I'm talking about, then we might not need to hold off on that last little bit for tier 4. We probably can push straight on to it at that stage. But there's plenty of planes in our arsenal that could certainly be upgraded. Do I want a 3rd runway that is of the tier 3 variety, so that we have a 3rd takeoff spot as we add more and more? this would be the one you would want to widen, but I don't think we want to widen it. So maybe we would look to the space out here to make another tier 3 runway, and actually maybe something that is like this project that can eventually make it 2 tier 5 runways. And then maybe we do away with our tier 1 entirely. There's 3 planes here that are tier 1 only. Maybe we don't need them. And this area becomes the area in between the 2 runways becomes a big multi-hangar mini plane area that is kind of the core, besides, you know, your backups, which instead of being the tier 1 is the tier 3s and tier 2s, whatever that's over there. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.